Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's yoga class is all about gently restoring energy. We're going to be stimulating the endocrine system and the liver, so today's sequencing of particular benefit if your body is feeling sluggish or if you're suffering from PMS. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest if you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class in Thunderbolt, a kneeling frame. Make your way down to the mat and maybe position yourself so that your knees are more or less in the middle of the mat as you sit back into Thunderbolt, so that you've got a little bit of space in front of you and a little bit of space behind you. Knees together, feet together, sitting back on your feet. You could take a block, feed it through the legs and sit on the block. We're going to find our way into Venus Mudra. So I'd like you to interlace your fingers. Ladies, make sure that your left pinky is at the bottom, and gents, you're going to work the reverse. So you're going to have your right pinky at the bottom. And then you're going to connect to that little fleshy portion between the thumb and the index finger. You're going to press with the two top fingers. You're just going to press lightly on those fleshy mounds. You're going to relax your hands into your lap, close your eyes, maybe take your focus inward, and just find a comfortable seat with the weight of your bottom resting on your feet, spine in a comfortable neutral line, and just give me a couple of gentle breaths here, thinking of melting your shoulders away from your ears as you inhale and exhale gently. Just connect to the gentle rise and fall of your chest as you breathe. Think of the ribs expanding laterally on the inhale and then falling into the center line on the exhale. Start to tune into your body, into your breath. Be present for today's practice. Then lightly flutter open your eyes, open up your arms. Give me a wide reach through the arms, maybe even a soft throwback-like action as you arc slightly through the spine and breathe generously through your chest. Opening up your throat center, maybe peeking up to the sky. Then find Venus Mudra behind your back. Think of squeezing those two shoulder blades together closer along the midline. You're going to take a big breath in, let's say maybe for a slow count of 10. And then for a lazy exhale of 10, you're going to twist to the left. You're going to keep that Venus Mudra behind your back. You're going to peek over the opposite shoulder. When you run out of exhale, you're going to bring it back to the center. Big breath in for 10. Long, lazy exhale for 10 as you twist to the right, keeping that Venus bind behind your back. When you run out of air, you're going to bring it back to center. Pause here, take a big breath in for 10. Take a long, lazy exhale for 10. Then uninterlace your hands and come into a narrow child. So try to keep the legs squeezed together along the midline so that there's a little bit of compression in the lower viscera as you fold forward, thinking chest to the tops of your thighs. Arms are long and extended on the mat in front of you. And then we're going to play up this child pose today and see if we can get a little bit of more stimulation into those lower organs. You're going to begin sliding your left leg behind you, repositioning yourself so that it feels like you're sitting with the weight of your trunk over the top of your right thigh. Try to come to a balancing point where you can comfortably rest your trunk on the top of your right thigh and rest your forehead to the mat. Breathe. Trying to maintain your balance,
On that right side, you're going to swim the right arm alongside your body so that the back of the hand is connected to the mat and the palm is looking up. Then see if you can maintain your balance as you do the same with the left arm, bringing it alongside your body. And you trying here not to rock your body weight off the top of your right thigh. So you're trying to balance your weight on your forehead and with your trunk on the top of your right thigh. Breathe. Then see if you can float your left arm back into extension, softly pushing off the left palm, and replicate the line on the right. Then tuck back into your narrow child, thinking lower trunk to the tops of your thighs. Breathe nice and deeply into the back of your ribs. Then peel back up into Thunderbolt. Take your left hand, and with your left hand, you're going to uncurl the outer shell of your ear. Beginning at the top of the ear, you're going to just think of trying to open up that little curl, making your way down the curve of the ear. And when you get to the earlobe, you're going to give it a few soft presses and squeezes. Maybe you want to massage it softly. And then you're going to do the same on the right side. Beginning at the top portion of the ear, think of just gently trying to pull that little outer shell open. So you're stimulating, you're waking up the body. Give the lobe a good little press or two. And then we're going to start gently massaging the throat chakra. You're going to begin just underneath your left ear in long stroking motions. You're going to stroke down the line of your neck, thinking of stimulating the lymph system and stroking towards the heart. You're going to make your way to the right ear. And then from the right side, you're going to bleed your way back to the left in long stroking motions, working underneath your jaw. You're going to stroke towards the collar line. Then come to stillness and come into a high camel line with the knees and the feet flush along the midline. You're going to support the lower back as you come into a little camel. You could use the L shape between your index finger and your thumb to hook around the waist, or fingertips down or fingertips up, whichever feels the most intuitive for you. So just play with it. Open up generously through your chest center, your throat center, your third eye. Then find your way back into Venus Mudra behind your back and come into an unsupported camel line, thinking of squeezing the two shoulder blades closer along the midline of the body. Then relax your spine into neutral, but keep Venus Mudra behind you as you take a little lunge step forward with the right leg. Leaning forward, keeping Venus Mudra behind your back. Really open up through the chest center. Open up your arms into a cactus-like frame. Elbows actively pushing against an imaginary weight. And then float your hands overhead and grab hold of the left wrist with your right hand and give me a little tug off center to the right so that you can feel the left side of your rib cage opening up beautifully. Keep your belly button gently pulled into center as you hold the low lunge. Then start to bump your hips back. We're going to come into a high monkey god stretch. So you're going to extend the front leg and just drop your hands towards the floor. Think shoulders dropping away from your ears. Try to anchor through all 5 toes. Reach as long as you can through the top of your foot.
Then bend the lead leg, swing it back. You're going to come into 4-point kneeling, but we're going to play it up and we're going to get creative today. So as you find your 4-point kneeling frame on the mat, you're going to drop down onto your elbow points. And then you're going to flip your hands up so that the palms are looking up to the sky. And you're going to try to raise your arms up so it feels like your palms are coming towards your shoulder line. So now you're pushing off and you're activating the very tips of your elbows. So you're going to feel those nerves on that pressure point. You're going to try to replicate the line with your kneecaps. So you're going to start floating the toes off the mat. So now you're pushing off the tips of your elbows and your kneecaps. You're going to take a little step forward with your left elbow and your right knee, and you're going to hold that contraction there, pushing off the elbow points and the knees. Then walk back to start, so the right knee comes back and the left elbow comes back. Now let's do the same on side 2. Step the right elbow forward and the left knee. Pause here in your half a walk. Keep those feet and those hands floating off the mat. And then walk your way back to your start position. Relax your hands back to the mat and find your way into a wide child. Big toes together, knees open nice and wide, draping the arms alongside the body. Back of the hands connected to the mat. Palms looking up to the sky. And just take a couple of generous breaths here. Maybe looking for an opportunity to close your eyes and take your focus inward. Bleed your way back up and find your way into your original thunderbolt with the knees together, the feet together, and ease your way back into Venus Mudra. Ladies, pinkies, left pinkies at the bottom, gents, right pinky at the bottom. Connect to your thumb mount by using the index finger of your top finger and the thumb on the other hand to press into those mounts. Activate that energy system. Close your eyes, take your focus inward, breathe. Even though you're in neutral spine, you're looking for a sense of lengthening through the spine, almost as if there was a little piece of string attached to your crown, gently pulling the crown to the sky. At the same time, you're pressing your bum bones to your heels and you're dropping your shoulders away from your ears. Gently flutter open your eyes, throw the arms open, thinking more crescent frame through the back and look up towards the ceiling. Thinking of cracking a walnut between your two shoulder blades. Then find Venus Mudra behind your back. Squeeze those two shoulder blades closer together along the midline. Take a nice generous breath in for a slow count of 10. Then exhale for 10 as you twist off center to one side, looking over that back shoulder. Feel the ribs on the opposite side of the body, taking a good stretch. Inhale for 10 as you bleed your way back to center. Exhale for 10 as you take that off-center twist to side 2, looking over the back shoulder for the back edge of your mat. Inhale for 10 as you come back to center. Exhale for 10 as you hold that center line. Then unbind your Venus Mudra and find your way into a narrow extended child, sliding the arms on the mat in front of you and looking for a nice bit of compression into the lower organs. Stimulating the liver, stimulating the endocrine system as we touch on all those lower viscera. Now see if you can begin to slide the right leg away from you, balancing the weight of your body on your forehead, and think trunk comfortably resting on the top of your left thigh without rolling the body weight to one side.
Maintaining that sense of balance, take a big breath in and sweep the left arm alongside the body, back of the hand connected to the mat, palm looking up. Trying to maintain your balance on the crown and the top of your thigh, you're going to bring the right arm alongside your body, looking to rest on your third eye and the top of your left thigh. Breathe. Then float the right arm back into extension in front of you. Find your balance. And then extend the left arm out in front of you, still holding that sense of balance. Then see if you can feed your right knee back into tuck and come back into your narrow child. Take a few breaths here, feeling that compression in the lower belly area. Keep your arms long and extended. Keep your breathing long, soft, and even. Then peel up back into Thunderbolt and start to uncurl your ears. Beginning maybe on the right this time. Start at the top of the ear shell, making your way down the curve of the ear and opening up that little crease in the ear. When you find your way at your earlobe, give it a few soft massages and maybe a little tug or two, pinching it between your index finger and your thumb. And then let's do the same on the left ear. Beginning at the top of the ear shell, start to uncurl the outer shell of the ear, making your way down towards the earlobe. Give it a good little massage and a good little pinch between your index finger and your thumb. Lead your way from here into a narrow camel line. Support your lower back with the hands in a fashion that feels comfortable for you. Think of the two shoulder blades joined together behind your back and just open up generously through the chest. Then see if you can use your back strength to maintain the camel line as you find Venus Mudra behind your back. Breathe. Bring your chin line into neutral and take a little lunge step forward with the left leg, trying to keep that Venus Mudra behind your back. Make sure you've got knee over ankle on the lead leg so that there's no tension on your joint. Then undo your Venus line and open up the arms into a beautiful cactus. Still thinking of trying to bring those two shoulder blades quite close together along the midline. Float your hands overhead. Grab hold of the right wrist with your left hand and tug the right arm off center to the left, feeling that beautiful opening through the right side of your ribs. Then start to bump the weight of your body back. Relax the arms at your side. Straighten up the front leg, pushing off your front heel with the toes looking up to the sky. Just stay here in a nice, almost modified kneel with your shoulders, hips, knees stacked on the right, and then just extending the left leg out, pushing through the heel, toes looking up to the sky. Let's find our way from here into that modified 4-point kneel, and we're going to come onto the elbow point. So find your 4-point kneeling position first. Then drop down onto the elbows. Flip your hands so that your palms are looking up to the sky. Start to float your hands and your arms off the mat so it feels like you're almost hugging in towards your shoulders. And now you're pressing actively off your elbow points. Readjust yourself on the mat if you need to and float your feet off the mat so that you can feel the pressure on the elbow points and on the kneecaps. Let's step the right elbow forward and the left knee. Hold. Push off all 4 pressure points. Keeping your gaze down on the mat so that your neckline is in neutral. Then step back to your modified 4-point kneel. Let's step the left elbow forward and the right knee. Pause here, actively pushing through all 4 pressure points. Find your way back to neutral. Push off all 4 points, keep those feet off the mat. Then relax from here into child pose. Big toes together, knees softly splayed out, wrapping the arms around the body. Back of the hands connected to the mat, palms looking up. You're resting the weight of your forehead on the third eye, or you could tuck a block underneath your forehead if you need to. Just take a couple of generous breaths here. We're going to find our way from here into Sukhasana, leading with the right leg in front. So when you're ready, think 4-point kneeling, maybe coming under the tips of your fingers, tuck the toes under behind you. You're going to hop or step up, crossing at the ankles to take a little seat on the mat. Just tuck into easy sit, right leg in front of left. You're going to hold onto your shoulders with your thumb hooking around the back of your shoulders and the other 4 fingers hooked around the front of your elbows. Elbows are going to stay nice and wide, and you're going to start to exhale as you twist left, inhale for center, exhale to twist right. You're going to give yourself maybe 5 or 6 little rounds of twisting side to side while maintaining that little hold over your shoulders. Work with an active breath pattern. Giving me a nice shooting breath on the exhale. Then you're going to hold that off-center twist to the right. Take a recovery breath or 2, holding the twist. So you're looking over your right shoulder towards the back edge of the mat, and your left elbow is facing the front corner of your mat. Inhale to find your way back to neutral, and then begin to extend the legs out in front of you, finding Dandasana, staff pose. Maybe your hands are resting on the tops of your thighs. You're actively pushing through your feet. Feet are just inside of hip width distance apart, and you're trying to give me the tallest seat that you can, so shoulders stacked over your hips. Breathe. Think of that little piece of string that's attached to the crown of your head and pulling the crown of your head up towards the sky. From here, we're going to find our way into intense ease, an inverted plank, and we're going to play it up today. So you can either keep your feet just inside of hip width distance apart, or you can bring them closer together, squeezing the energy between the 2 feet together. You can give me a flat hand, fingertips looking towards to the side, to the back, or you could even give me a fisted line if you like. I'm going to work with a fisted line today. Drag your hands back behind you so that you're stacking underneath your shoulders as you give me a little L lean back. You're going to start to raise your bum up off the mat. You're going to keep pushing off the heels of your feet, and you're going to give me 10 little heel taps on the right. Keep all 10 toes looking towards the sky today as you come into that inverted plank. Then relax back down to the mat. You're going to give me a soft little forward fold, so maybe hands to shins, or you can reach over your toes if you've got the range of motion. Then sit up nice and tall and open up into a straddle line, as narrow or as wide as you're comfortable, and lean forward. We're going to start playing dynamically between Paschimottanasana, your little forward fold with the legs sandwiched together, and Upavista Konasana, that wide V. And you're just going to play dynamically. Every time you fold forward in either position, you're going to try to start systematically bringing your chest closer towards the floor or the tops of your thighs. Give yourself a few dynamic rounds here. Playing between the narrow leg line and the wide open straddle. Hold your last narrow leg line, Paschimottanasana, hands to the tops of your shins, or maybe you're wrapping around the toes and you're actively pulling the toes towards your nose. Feel that awesome stretch. Feel that little bit of compression into the lower viscera. Then sit up nice and tall, open up into the widest straddle that you can. Fold forward in the straddle line and just hold. Keep those legs active, so feet stay braced, inner thighs stay switched on. From here, we're going to find our way back into Sukhasana, and then either stay in Sukhasana or find a half lotus line with the right leg in front or on top, depending on which variant you're playing with. So start to bend the left leg, tuck the heel in nice and close towards the perineum. Either stacking the right leg in front of the left in Sukhasana or reaching for the right foot, tucking that right heel as close towards the inside of the left hip bone as you can. Finding your half lotus line. Try to even out the weight on both of your bum bones. Then fist your hands, place your knuckles on the mat, wrists are looking into the center. You're going to push off your knuckles, lift your bum off the mat so that you're pushing off your left foot to raise the whole body off the mat. Resting your weight on your bottom foot and on the two fists. Almost hollowing out your belly and rounding out your back. Then relax your bottom back to the mat, maybe giving it a soft thunk as you come back down. Unwrap your feet and find your way into a supported boat, a table boat, and just give me little circular releases through the ankles of both feet. Maybe tracing a few lazy circles in one direction, and then changing it up and tracing the circle in the opposite direction. Make sure that you zip it up on the core as you find your modified boat, Navasana. Check that you've got runway behind you, so if you need to take a little creep forward, we're going to do a little fall back. So you're going to think hollow belly, rounded back, and you're going to hold that soft U frame. Reaching along through your fingertips to your toes. And then you're going to relax back into Shavasana. Thinking toes looking to the corner of your mat, arms relaxed at your side, palms looking up to the ceiling. Just take a nice soft sigh here. And just take a few gentle inhales and exhales in Shavasana, corpse pose. Keeping your chin relaxed down towards your chest. Bliss out for a few moments. And then we're going to use a spinal roll to bring us back into a seated frame. So start to tuck into a little ball frame, and maybe you're holding behind your thighs or around the shins as you hollow out your belly, round out your back, and start to rock on the spine back and forth. If that feels good, you can start to play with a soft forward fold, keeping as much bend in the knees as you need to. And maybe a little preparation for plow, thinking soft knees, tucking in towards your nose. In fact, we are going to come into a plow hold, but we are going to try to activate that compression into the lower belly and maybe a little bit of activation into the third eye. So you're going to end in the plow position, rolled onto your back. Support your lower back and drop your knees towards your nose. So there's quite a lot of compression into the lower belly. Won't be able to talk much in this position. Think knees to nose or knees to forehead. Making a tight little ball with your body. Then rock back to seat. Maybe taking a soft little forward fold to act as a counterbalance. Then ease your way back from here into Sukhasana. This time you're going to lead with the left leg in front of the right. Find your tall seat. Make sure your bum bones are equally weighted. And then hook your hands over your shoulders. So thumbs looking to the back. The other four fingers are looking to the front. You're going to start with those dynamic twists using an active breath side to side. Last one, side to side, big breath in. You're going to twist left and you're going to hold here, taking a long, lazy exhale, and then keeping the twist while you take a recovery breath or two. So your left elbow is looking towards the back edge of the mat and your right elbow is looking towards the front edge of your mat. Hold the twist. Make sure both bum bones are equally weighted into the mat and your spine is as tall as you can. Lead your way back to center. Relax the hands to the top of your thighs. Unravel your legs and come into staff pose, Dandasana. Feet just inside of hip-width distance apart. Actively bracing toes, looking towards the sky. You're drawing up the energy along your quads to support your frame, and you're sitting up as tall as you can. Pretend that you've got your back and your shoulders pressed against an imaginary wall. Then maybe bringing the feet in closer, we're going to come into that inverted plank. Drop your hands or your fists to the mat. Draw them back behind you. Give me an L, lean back. Push off your fists or your hands and raise your bottom off the mat. You're going to give me leg lifts and heel taps on the left. So all 10 toes stay looking up towards the sky today as you find your inverted plank. Then relax back down to the mat. We're going to play between our little forward fold, Paschimottanasana, and our wide V straddle. Folding forward in both positions and starting to find a gentle rhythm oscillating between the two frames. Maybe once more looking for an active breath pattern. Hold your next forward fold in Paschimottanasana with the legs sandwiched together. Look for that little bit of compression into the lower viscera. Breathe nice and deeply into the back of your ribs. Big inhale in, open up into your wide seated straddle, Upavista Konasana. Fold forward and hold using active feet, active inner thighs. Breathe nice and deeply into the back and the sides of your ribs. We're going to find our way from here back into either Sukhasana or the half lotus line. Left leg is leading on top or in front, depending on whether you're coming into Sukhasana or your half lotus line, Ardha Padmasana. Make sure that the weight bearing is equal on both of your bum bones. We're going to do that little bum lift. Fist your hands, place your knuckles on the floor alongside your hips, push off your knuckles and your bottom foot and hold. Thinking hollow belly, rounded back. Then reconnect your bottom, maybe giving yourself a soft thump as you come back down. Unravel your legs and find your way into a supported tabletop boat and begin to release the ankles. Giving yourself a few revolutions in one direction and then changing it up and moving in the opposite direction. Check your runway. Do you need space? Take a creep forward if you need to. You're going to give me one little fall back to come into a hollow hold. Thinking almost of making a U-like frame with your belly and then holding it. Then relaxing into Shavasana. Toes are looking to the corners of your mat. Arms are softly splayed out. Palms looking up to the sky. Close your eyes. Take your focus inward. And just give yourself a few recovery breaths here. You're either going to stay here, blissed out in Shavasana, or you're going to start playing with those little spinal rolls to bring you into a modified plow line. Start tucking into a little ball frame. maybe bracing around the shins or behind the thighs as you rock up and down on the spine. And then maybe think of starting to open up your leg line if this feels good. Coming once more into Paschimottanasana and preparing for plow by peeling your bum, your tailbone, the lower back off the mat. Thinking knees coming towards your forehead. And then maybe ending in the plow line, supporting your lower back, but bending at the knees and actively trying to tap your knees to your forehead. Hold. Then unpeel, coming to Paschimottanasana as your counterbalance. Hold, feel that compression in the lower belly. From here, we're going to make our way onto the back, and you're going to ease your way into Shavasana. You can either just sit up nice and tall, maybe dropping down onto the elbows, making your way onto the back, or you could give me a roll down to come into position. Find Shavasana, make sure that the big toes are looking to the corner of your mat, arms are relaxed at your side. And then just give me a couple of relaxed inhales and exhales. Closing your eyes and taking your focus inward. Then lying on the back, you're going to find a Jupiter Mudra again, almost making a soft dome-like cap for your lower belly and relaxing that cap over your belly as you relax your elbow points to the mat. You're going to give me a couple of deep belly breaths here. As you inhale, you're going to try to rise or dome your belly so that it fills that little cap that you've created with your Jupiter Mudra. And then on the exhale, your belly is going to start becoming heavy to the mat. And you're going to empty that little cap that you've created for your belly. Close your eyes, take your focus inward. On the inhale, feel your belly rising, making a little balloon and filling up that little cap you've created with Jupiter Mudra. Soft cap. As you exhale, your belly is going to become heavy to the mat and you're going to empty that little cap. Sorry, I said Jupiter Mudra. That should have been Venus Mudra. My bad. So blissed out, my brain's not functioning. Let's do one more breath into our little Venus cap. Then unravel in your Venus Mudra. Place your right hand somewhere between your pubic bone and your belly button so that you're covering the lower two chakras, your Muladhara chakra and your Svadhisthana chakra, and place your left hand over your belly button so that you're connected to your solar plexus, your Manipuraka chakra. Keep softly pressing down onto those lower chakras that we were looking to open up during today's practice.
Keep your breathing long, soft and even. Shoulders and the back of your ribs nice and heavy into the mat. Chin line soft and relaxed. No tension in the jaw or the neck. Then gently flutter open your eyes. Bend your knees and connect the soles of your feet to the mat. Pausing here for a moment and just giving your lower back an opportunity to relax into the mat. You can bring your hands into a gentle resting position onto your belly. When you're ready, you're going to roll over into a fetal pose, preferably onto the right side of your body. Maybe using your bottom arm as a little pillow tucked underneath you. Your top hand can either be resting palm down into the mat, or maybe you'd like to hug the shins, whichever feels the most intuitive for your body. And just take a couple of gentle breaths here. Still keeping that sense of long, even breath work. When you're ready, you're going to push up and you're going to find your way into a seat of your choice. Maybe that's easy sit, maybe that's half lotus, maybe you'd like to come back into your original seat in Thunderbolt with the knees and the feet together, sitting back and maybe looking for Venus Mudra, got it right this time. Pressing softly into your thumb mounds with the top fingers and just resting your interlaced hands on your lap. Think of a comfortable neutral spine. However you're deciding to situate yourself on the mat, take a couple of generous breaths here. Maybe once more looking for an opportunity to close your eyes and take your focus inward. Keep that comfortable neutral spine. Keep your shoulders softly melting away from your ears, but the belly button gently drawn into center. So there's still an activation through those lower chakras. Then bring your hands together in prayer mudra in front of your heart and close off your practice today on the words Shanti, peace. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me today. Till next time, keep it light.